This is FairTax Terry. I'm standing on the stage of the Paducah-Tillman High School Auditorium in Paducah, Kentucky, where the debate between the three candidates on the Republican side for the United States Senate just ended. They took questions from the audience. They had picked 15 questions. I was number 12, and they only had time for 10 questions. So after the debate was over, I had the opportunity to spend just a few minutes with each candidate on their views on the fair tax.
Here's my view on the fair tax. I think we need a flatter and fairer tax and a better way of doing it. So I would support anything that helps us to get to that area. But I think the first thing we got to do is extend the Bush tax cuts and then fight to get the tax flatter and fairer. We may not be able to get to the actual fair tax in reality, but the concepts and the principles I think are really sound, and we need to do that.
Of course, the difference between the fair tax and the flat tax is
consumption versus income. Got it.
Right, and the IRS stays with the flat tax; it goes away with the fair tax.
Right. No, I think we'd all like to see the gradual reduction and then ultimately the elimination of the IRS if we can get to that fair, to get to the actual fair tax. But that's why I say I would like us to be flatter and fairer. I don't know if we can politically get there, but let's give it a try.
I'm in favor of any change in the tax code that reduces the overall tax burden. That would include the fair tax, changing to a sales tax. One great advantage of it would be no more IRS, no more income tax, no more reams of paper that we all have to deal with. So yeah, I think a sales tax would be better. But I also will support, if it's an alternative, a lower income tax rate, marginal rates going down, or a flat income tax. And I think there has to be a big discussion as to what do we do to reduce the burden. I mean, my overall goal is I don't want to just shift the burden. I want the overall size and scope of government to be smaller and taxes to be less.
Okay, I was number 12 today asking questions. They took 10 questions, so I got bumped. My question was this: what are your thoughts on the fair tax?
I support the fair tax. I think it is time to abolish the IRS and move towards a consumption-based tax. I would honestly like to abolish the 16th Amendment as well, which is the amendment that allowed us to start to collect income taxes. So I'm a big supporter of the fair tax.
If elected, would you co-sponsor the bill with Senator Chambliss of Georgia?
Well, I would. I need to read the specifics. I think the percentage is too high. We need to get the size of the government down, get that percentage of sales tax down, and gradually move in that direction. So I absolutely would support it.
I would like to thank each candidate for taking just a few minutes with me today after their long debate. In fairness, I invite the Democratic candidates for United States Senator of Kentucky to visit with me too. Just contact me when you come back to Paducah.